My dearest brothers and sisters. This is Hakann speaking. It is my pleasure to answer some more of your questions.
I have some questions about my soul group, the blueprinters. I understand from reading articles on the web that quite a lot of blueprinters are incarnated on Earth right now. None of these articles know where blueprinters come from, this universe. This super universe? Which stars/planets? Or what they were created for. I've been told I'm from Satniyama, but that's way past my creation as an ultimaton. I'm not sure if only blueprinters start in creation as an ultimaton or if every human being with a soul starts like that. The role that the blueprinters have in developing the Earth experience is more clear to me because information can be found about it. But I don't know if we were created just for this. My questions are as follows, and I hope you'll discuss them with our friends at the New Jerusalem. How long ago was the Blueprinters soul group created? How big is this soul group / how many blueprinters have been created? For what purpose was the Blueprinters soul group created? Just to participate in creating the Earth experience, or are we involved in other creations / holographic realities? Where do we come from? What is Satniyama?
It is good to talk to a blueprinter, especially one who is consciously aware that he is from that soul group. Graduated blueprinters are a group of souls who are involved in co-creating new realms and new beings, together with and on behalf of Source. To a lesser extent, they are also involved in co-creating new civilizational structures and new ways of living and cooperation. The first blueprinters were created at the dawn of creation. It is an ancient group. About 5 million blueprinters have ever existed. Right now about 3 million beings are still blueprinters. However, the number of blueprinters physically incarnated on Earth at this time numbers just in the hundreds. Not everyone who thinks they are a blueprinters are in fact one. Those blueprinters who are physically incarnated on Earth, including yourself, are here primarily to achieve soul growth so that they can become graduated blueprinters. Yes, you are helping your fellow Earthlings and you are co-creating a new Earth experience with your fellow Earthlings. However, you personally are primarily here to achieve soul growth, and helping the situation on Earth is your soul's means of achieving that. For you personally, you can think of this as your final field exam. Do well in this life and it is likely that you will graduate and be able to start doing graduated blueprinter tasks. I will not be very specific about what your task may be after this life, because there is only the now and it is more beneficial that you focus on this current life. You are currently doing well. Keep up the good work. As for where you are from, all souls originate from Source, as I have discussed in my message Spiral of Creation. Source is everywhere. After splitting off from Source, most souls then spend a lot of time incarnating on various worlds in order to achieve soul growth. What's particular about blueprinters is that they spend less time than other beings physically incarnated on worlds, and spend a lot more time traveling between realms and being in between realms. They also spend more time than other beings watch new realms and worlds and people being created. Blueprinters don't really have a home planet. Their home is everywhere and they travel a lot. Satniyama is a state of mind. It is a state of mind appropriate for graduated level blueprinters. Satniyama involves calm readiness, working tirelessly for a long time in a flow state, and a state of gratitude and purpose while still working with focus. Trust your intuition. Everything you need is already inside you.
Your post from Hakann, "You are already more than good enough," genuinely moved me to tears and helped me with my journey. In case my message gets lost in translation, Hakann, thank you, genuinely thank you. I managed to make contact with my other family around 13 or 14th of August last year, which at that time was a complete shock to me because I didn't really expect to make contact. I've been struggling to piece together everything ever since and trying to make sense of all that has been revealed to me ever since. Sometimes it genuinely feels like I am going crazy due to the things I experienced, but the more I learn the more it begins to make sense. Long story short, my galactic family should be where Hakann and Tunia are from. It's been an extremely long time since we had contact. We had a small chat and basically, they were happy that I made contact, but right now it was too soon for us to speak. I needed to just continue what I was doing and stop thinking so much. Easier said than done. In my moment of excitement, I accidentally dragged in some others into the group call. That probably made things weird. Now, ever since then it's left me with more questions than answers in what that all meant, and that long search has led me here. I have no idea who I can talk to about this here on Earth/Terra and genuinely feel very isolated/alone in this respect. My inner guide hasn't been the best to talk to about all this stuff, since itself has caused me some confusion. I know this is a me problem, I'm just too logic-minded at times due to my environment and it's getting in the way of my progress. Do you have any advice on how to proceed? I understand there is some spiritual development, but I still feel very lost in what should be the next step. Should I develop my Merkaba, astral travel there myself and chat, will I get blocked again? Look for a spiritual teacher here? Side question for the Q&A coming up. What would be some good ways for starseeds to learn more about themselves spiritually? How do we get some guidance when we ourselves are struggling to converse with our inner self? Those that miss and long for that deeper conversion about otherworldly things but don't have anyone currently they can talk to about such things. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Sorry if it was quite the read. It was quite cathartic for me just to write this. I wish you all the best, courage. AS and all of our extended family out there. Thank you for all the work you've been doing, it's helped more than you can imagine. Low key, I was hoping AS to pass on those details to Hakann/Tunia to see if they can confirm if I did in fact have such a convo with my family from there. Deep down I know I'm just looking for multiple confirmations, but it's what my monkey brain is asking for.
You are very welcome. I am glad that I was able to find the words to convey my love and appreciation for you in that message, and I am glad that the channeler provided the bridge that allowed me to send that message to Earth. Thank you for your sharing, your vulnerability and your courage. Yes, you did have that conversation with your galactic family. It is also completely normal to want multiple confirmations of such things. The vast majority of people who are waking up go through such a phase. For example, the channeler still occasionally asks for confirmations, just because this whole contact with galactic situation is so very different from what Earthlings are used to. Rather than judging Earthlings for wanting multiple confirmations, I think Earthlings who are waking up are brave and ahead of the curve. You are the light bearers and the way showers, and I appreciate you and thank you for being there. From our perspective, you are good and worthy just the way you are. If what arises in you is a desire to have another confirmation, then you shall indeed have that, and you can have as many of those as you want. I understand that this is a confusing situation and that you are feeling alone. My thoughts and love go out to you. Overall, the most important thing for you to do is to raise your overall level of consciousness. Especially last week's The Message, the observation path will be useful for you. I think you would benefit from trying to adopt such a mindset of just observing everything that arises in you. It will take some time for that practice to fully bloom in you. However, what you resist, persists, and that includes thoughts that come up. If you feel called or pulled towards a certain teacher or path, feel free to follow that pull, but I think that right now you are more in need of just more overall psychological well-being rather than specific spiritual training. If you are unsure if a certain path or teacher genuinely calls to you or not, another one of my previous messages might be useful. How do I know what is true? Once you are developed and pure enough, so-called supernatural abilities will arise without much effort. Therefore, it is generally better to work on yourself overall rather than trying to actively learn so-called supernatural abilities. I would also like to thank you for your courage in admitting that you feel alone. I think many light workers feel that way. It is awful that this situation is dragging out so long. If any light worker wants to become pen pals with other light workers, feel free to offer that in the comment section. If you don't want to put your email address on a public website, you can create a new email address and put that there instead. So for example, you can write as a comment, "I am open to becoming pen pals with another light worker." You can contact me at this email address. Finally, it is very likely that at some point, galactics will land openly on your world. I think there's a pretty good chance this will happen within 4 years, although it might take up to 20 years or even longer. You will also be able to physically meet your star family then.
Hello Sister Tunia and Brother Hakann, sending you love from my heart to yours. I have a question. I've been experiencing vibrations in the lower part of my spine which occurs randomly. Why? Also recently when doing a healing meditation, images of people from I would say olden times could be seen. This is of course with my eyes closed. It was a little blurry, but the clothes the people were wearing could have been about 200 to 300 years ago. Another time while meditating, the year 1607 came up and could somewhat see people for a short time walking. If you could shed some light on this, I would appreciate it. Love and blessings from Louisiana.
Thank you very much. We're sending love back to you as well. The vibration in the lower part of your spine is part of what is sometimes called ascension symptoms. Your system is upgrading itself to a higher frequency, and this leads to physical discomfort. In time, these symptoms will go away. The better you take care of yourself, the more quickly they will disappear. Alternatively, you can visit a spiritual healer to speed up this process. It is up to you if you want to just take good care of yourself and wait it out, or if you prefer to go to a spiritual healer. Some of the people you saw were your ancestors. You did a healing meditation, and they came up because they suffered during their lives and they could use some healing. These people indeed were your ancestors on a soul level, but not necessarily on a physical level. If you retraced your family tree, you would not necessarily see them there. After all, you have lived different lives and not all of them have been within the same Earth family structure. But they were the ancestors of one of your incarnations on Earth. This situation is an invitation to heal ancestral trauma, or heal those people directly. If you want to heal those people directly, you can just meditate and think, I want to start a conversation with those ancestors that I saw, and then just start talking to them. Ask them how their life was and if they need anything. Often just listening and sending love is enough. If you can't manage to talk to them, just doing a love-based meditation while focusing on them may be enough. Alternatively, you can try to get insight in what ancestral trauma and which ancestral distortions remain active today and try to clear those. This sounds complicated, but often it is as simple as just choosing to no longer make the mistakes that your ancestors did. As for what exactly those distortions are, trust your intuition, it knows what those mistakes were. Or you can just think, my soul, what distortions have gotten passed on through this family line? Only answer that arise immediately are true. Your soul will answer in your regular inner voice, but the answer will be from your soul. So, these are some things you can do. I would like to be not too prescriptive here on what you should do exactly, as I think it is better if you try to address this situation in your own way. It is not super high priority that you address this immediately, but addressing this will lead to some further soul growth and cleaning up for you. It is an opportunity for further growth. If you are genuinely not sure what to do, you can visit a spiritual healer and ask them for advice. Finally, that your attention is being drawn to the wounds and distortions of your ancestors is a sign that you have already progressed quite a bit spiritually speaking. Usually people are first drawn towards self-healing and self-development, and then they are drawn to healing ancestral trauma and healing trauma from past lives. You are in that second phase, and that is a phase that is farther along than most people are. So congratulations on that. To everyone, thanks for your questions. I always appreciate the opportunity to share my perspective with you. Finally, better times on Earth genuinely are coming. Nothing can change that. The only question is how long and how painful the changing process will be, but one day Earthlings will be free. I think there's a good chance this will at least mostly happen before the end of 2026, and if not, it's very likely, although not guaranteed, that it will happen within 20 years. I very much look forward to the day that I can physically meet you all. Your star brother, Hakann.